So which kite is better in the surf, the 2022 Duotone Neo SLS or the 2022 Duotone Dice SLS? Let's go check. Can I say let's go? That's weird. Let's just do that. All right, so on this particular day, we didn't actually have very much of a wave, so to speak. It was just little knee-high knee schwackers, if you will. But we want to take a look at some of the comparative differences between the Dice and the Neo, primarily in power, turning speed, upwind ability, downwind drift, downloops, and relaunch. So Neo versus Dice when it comes to power. The Neo no doubt has more power pound for pound than what the wingtip size says. So if you're flying a 9, I feel like that pulls every bit like a 10. And conversely with the Dice, I feel like if you're flying an 11, that would pull more like a 10. When it comes to turning speed, especially for in the surf, you know, when you're making quick transitions and quick adjustments, you know, I'm not sure what I felt there. Back to back, flying both of these kites, the Neo SLS and the Dice SLS, I felt like they both handle really good in the waves. They transition back and forth, and you can fly them both pretty aggressively. I gotta say, in this last session, I was finding some newfound love toward the Dice. I think in that regard, I felt like the downloop transitions in the surf, or anytime for that matter, were working really good. And the Neo always does too, but the Dice seemed just a little bit more responsive to me this last time out. When it comes to upwind ability, I think the Neo has it here. I think the Neo is a little bit more of a frontline flying kite than what the Dice is, especially if you're a little more depowered. If you got a couple of clicks of depower on the Neo, you can't really tell, but on the Dice, if you got a couple of clicks of depower as you're heading upwind, you can see the canopy shape changing just a little bit, not dramatically, but I feel like the upwind ability pretty naturally goes to the Neo here. But I'd be curious, if you were both taking off, you had two people taking off going upwind, you know, would they be close? Would it be I don't think it would be a really far gap between the two, but it'd be kind of cool to see it side by side. It's a little more of a low aspect shape. Dice isn't bad. With that said, you know, I think in our conditions, we're typically riding conditions locally here where we've got the wind and waves going the same direction, so we're not dealing with a swell direction coming from one and a wind direction coming from a different direction. We're going the same way, and so I feel like we do a lot of redirecting. You know, I'll come out in front of the wave, come back at it, hit it, back out, and hit it, and keep kind of, you know, rinse and repeat on that process. So I'm not really chasing the kite a whole lot, and if I am, I'm down looping it to get around some sections. So in my opinion, Neo is a little better on the downwind drift. Down loop transitions, kite loops, all that good stuff. Neo Dice is going to have the loop every time. I feel like it's a more powerful loop, but that's what it's designed for. If in the surf you want a less powerful down loop, maybe you're riding flying a little smaller of a kite, riding a bigger board, and you're having a more of a natural surf experience, you don't want to get, you know, a big pull from it. Yeah, the Neo down loops are pretty cool, and they don't yank you that hard. Whereas on the Dice, I feel like, especially if you're powered up and you start down looping it, you're going to really get a little more of an aggressive pull there. Relaunch ability. You know, I think the Neo is going to have the relaunch too. Dice doesn't relaunch bad, but the Neo, again, due to its shape, just lends to a little more of a quicker relaunch capability. So if you're in the surf, especially, and your kite gets munched, how quick can you get that thing back up in the air before it gets hit by another set? You know, my money would be on the Neo all day long. In closing, just a few more thoughts here. The Dice feels a bit more responsive to me than the Neo, not in a good or bad way. I mean, it just depends on what you want out of a kite, but I feel like, you know, if we were comparing two performance cars, I would say the Neo is your manual. I'm sorry, no, it's not that. If we were comparing two performance cars, I would say that the Neo is the automatic transmission and the Dice is the 5-speed stick. And so if you prefer to have more of a hands-on aggressive approach toward your kite flying, then the Dice is probably going to be something that you want to take a look at. And if you like a little bit more plug and play, kick back and cruise, then the Neo is going to be maybe a better choice for you. Both kites can be flown and ridden very aggressively though, so you got to take that with a grain of salt and apply your own individual take on kite surfing. So what I do with my kites is going to be different from how maybe you fly your kites. So I'm trying not to ramble on here, but I'm trying to be honest as I talk about this, so bear with me. When it comes to your quiver size, I feel like there's a different approach with the Neo and the Dice. The Neo, I personally feel that the Neo has a bigger wind range, so I will gap out, 25%, maybe even 30% between kite sizes. Like I've traditionally run a 7, 9, and a 12 with the Neo, and that absolutely is perfect. I could probably gap out even a little further on that and still be pretty covered, especially if I have a mix of surfboards that I'm using. On the Dice, however, I feel like, boy, it has a really good sweet spot. And when you're in the sweet spot, it's amazing. And what I mean by that is the absolute appropriate size kite for the wind power that you're riding in. And so on the Dice, I stick a little closer to 20% difference in kite sizes. So an example quiver might be an 8, 10, 12 or a 6, 8, 10, something, I'm not going too far between sizes. I never feel like you need to go, 7, 8, 9, that kind of thing. That's too close. However, 6, 8, 10, 8, 10, 12 is pretty spot on for the Dice. So just something to consider if you are thinking about trying to make a decision between these two kites for waves. And or for just general free riding, freestyle, whatever you want to apply it to. I feel like the Dice, I'd stick closer together on the kite sizes. Another thing to consider if you're trying to think about a difference between these two kites, the Neo, if you're the kind of person who loves to kite in waves, but is also just a good all-around free rider, the Neo might be a good way to go for you. And if you like the thought of kite surfing in waves and have a performance kite there, but you also are into freestyle and possibly wake style, and you appreciate a big jump and a kite loop, then the Dice is going to be the one you're going to want to take a look at. All right, guys. So what are your thoughts on this? Did I miss anything important? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to work this out together. Always know that you can drop a line, give us a call, shoot us an email. We're happy to chat about it. All right, fam, this has been Aaron at Matt Kite. Let's get on the water.